Hello, my name is Louise Cole, and I'll be reading a selection from my translation of a short story entitled She Was Dancing the Tango by José Ovejero, a contemporary novelist, poet, and playwright from Spain. This translation was published in Profiles, a journal of character-driven writing and portraiture. The dancers were moving counterclockwise across the floor. It was like watching a carousel slowly turn. Time and again, I would find the same couples in front of me dancing, pausing to complete a move before continuing on their way, as though they were gliding, or else the floor was revolving beneath them. I was a little frustrated I couldn't enter that weightless world, so absorbed in itself, so indifferent to everything around it, and, as I've already said, so free of affectation. Another thing, you never wanted to take a dance class with me. You thought it was ridiculous and somewhat old-fashioned, an activity for couples in their 50s who get together on Sundays to play cards. I'm not trying to criticize you, though. What I'm trying to say is that we never learned to move to the same beat. In fact, we never moved each other around except those rare times when we would displace one another after an exhausting fight by constantly pushing and pulling the other person in the direction we wanted. Like when I wasn't ready to start a family and you were. Having just taken my position as a lawyer at the commission, I thought having a child would put me at a disadvantage and that I'd turn into one of those women you can't really count on at work because for them, family comes first. But then later on, when I was getting disillusioned with my job, particularly when I realized that with or without kids, I wasn't on an equal footing with my colleagues, who, despite always treating me with perfect professionalism, managed to create, without words or overt schemes, a sort of masculine solidarity that set me apart. You'd already lost interest. You were, as you put it, on to something else. What you didn't tell me, though, was that you were making plans to go back to Spain, to your locus amoenus, as you later called it, employing the pedantic little phrase ironically, but still coming across as pompous. You should have stayed with me. That's what I blame you for. Despite everything, you should have stayed with me, or at least given me time to decide whether to stay in Brussels or go back, to let me sell the house and leave a job that, even if I didn't like it, was mine, a job with good pay that allowed me the independence I've always craved. With your support, I would have been able to make up my mind, I'm certain, and I would have chosen you. Not very talkative, are you? I'd been sitting there silently in a trance for about 5 minutes without noticing Judith was seated beside me. I searched for a reproachful tone in her words, mentally repeating them back to myself, but all I found was curiosity. Sometimes, I said. Other times I can't shut up. Well, you really should try it. I understood what she meant by her nod toward the dance floor. Otherwise, you'll kick yourself later for being too scared to try. That's how it would be for me, anyways. I'd start off thinking I don't have a good reason to dance since nobody is making me. But then later, at home, I'd look at myself in the mirror and say, "Coward, you didn't even try." And that would eat at me for weeks. You dance really well, I said. She stretched out her right hand, palm up, toward me, and I placed my left hand in hers. We smiled. Okay, let's go, I conceded. But don't complain when I trample your toes. Just go with the flow. Don't try to guess what I'm about to do. Resist a little, though, like you're not sure you want to do what I ask. A girlish laugh, adolescent, nervous, and excited, escaped my lips. Judith wrapped her right arm around my body, just below my shoulder blades. She lifted her other hand, which was still holding mine, to the height of her chest and then pushed against my hand a few times like she was pushing open a window. I yielded to the pressure. She shook her head. Too easy. You have to resist. You don't want to just go along with anything, but you kind of do. She pushed against my hand again, And I pushed back, countering her pressure with mine, though less forcefully, as though it were a struggle I let myself lose. She said, "That's it. Now let's dance." She repeated her vulgar laugh, and I my girlish one. I got nervous when I felt her chest against mine, her cheek seeking mine, and our bellies slightly separated, but close enough to feel each other's warmth. We boarded the carousel.